Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to do a short little warm-up piece. Maybe it'll turn into something a little bit more defined. But today, I'm going to work on a piece that kind of continues on with themes in space. I'm going to do a Guardians of the Galaxy piece. I do apologize if you hear quite a few little sniffles and stuff. I have a cold, so I do apologize for that. But sometimes we get a cold. Been watching a lot of YouTube videos lately. Been learning a lot, realizing that there is certain types of videos that tend to be a little bit more popular, certain videos that tend to be a little bit more money makers, but I'm not, of course, interested in doing that per se. I am interested in kind of getting this content to you guys. And really loving what I do. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to get the composition in a little bit better. I've already done kind of a preliminary character sketch of Rocket, so this is kind of what I've already done, kind of a real quick, messy piece that I'm going to kind of use as reference for the pose. If I can get it to stand up, that would be awesome! Anyway, this week has been okay so far. Today's Tuesday. You know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna put you right here. Okay, so today's Tuesday. So far, of course, looking at the composition page, already I've kind of worked out what exactly I want Rocket to do and to be doing. He's gonna be kind of be on the back of Groot, or on the side of Groot, kind of on his neck. Groot's gonna kind of be looking kind of quasi this direction. So what I basically do, and I've iterated this to you guys before and told you guys what I basically do, is I rough everything out. It's very important that we rough stuff out, whenever we draw, and have a basic understanding of where stuff goes compositionally. Very rarely will I go into a piece blind and kind of draw from my whims. I'm kind of a planner, but also I do like to leave room for the artistic interpretation. I don't want everything to be by the rules per se, but that being said, I do like to have a little bit of a plan, because if you don't have a plan, a lot of times what happens is you end up illustrating yourself into a box and you have to kind of work your way out. So I didn't really draw Groot, and actually I'm kind of I'm not liking too much where this is turning out, but I'm going to go ahead and continue because I've started the video. So again, I do apologize for the cold. Seems like this time of year, coming into spring, all the stuff blooming, allergies are just out of control, and man, it's just been brutal. Allergies. Oh. Anyway, so I have been, I guess you could say, pretty busy, which is a good thing. I picked up some really cool design work recently that I'm enjoying. And it's always good to be working. Work is a good thing. So I've had a couple comments from people, not only through the YouTube interface, but also through some private messages and stuff, and people wondering and observing. I'm a very messy drawer, very messy illustrator, and how can you make any sense out of all these lines and all these waves? What these waves and lines do in the context of my drawing, it helps me get movement and life. Whenever I went to school years and years and years ago, I went to school and it was great. Yes, it was great because I didn't have a lot of responsibilities and accountabilities for the incredible stress and strain that can be life if you allow it to be. I basically was allowed to draw all the time, which was freaking great. I mean, how in the, who could ever complain about going to school? You know, I'm a big proponent of learning and stuff, but you know, going to school was just a fantastic time for me. You know, I really enjoyed what I did. Anyway, like I was saying, whenever I was you know, going to school, I was always very interested in adding different types of methodologies and things to what I did. And you know, I was always just basically trying to learn, you know, and a lot of students these days I've seen really are just trying to get stuff out of the way. You know, I need to do it as quick as possible. I need to do it, you know, as fast as I can to get it done so I can go on and do things and be in my life. And what they're missing the point of in whenever you're in school is that ability to, you know, if I want to try something for, you know, 2 weeks, drawing wise, and I want to really explore every facet of it, then you can do that. Now you can still do that as an adult, but you still have, you know, your responsibilities as a as a human being, as a parent, as, you know, a worker if you're working for somebody, and all of these things. So you know, I encourage you guys who are students who are visiting the channel today, and also, you know, you seasoned professionals that are visiting, to, you know, find new ways of doing the same old thing. I really am interested in getting, and I've done, it's so funny, I looked back at some of the 3D work that I've done, some of the digital sculpting, and I'm always like, yeah, I've got about 2 years experience in ZBrush, and, you know, I've done a little bit here and there, and haven't really delved into the wholehearted side of things, because of course I love to do this and draw on paper and illustrate and tell stories and stuff, and you can still do that in the 3D world. But you know, I tell people this, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get back to 3D art, you know, soon, and sculpting and stuff. You know, I've owned the program for years and years, and all the way back to version 4. So, but I want to get, you know, into that 3D world and really explore, you know, the forms and stuff, and really get into being able to relate a little bit better, because as we all know, whenever we draw, we see in 3 dimensions, but we translate it into a 2-dimensional surface to look 3-dimensional. So it's kind of a remove in a way, because you're kind of reinventing the wheel as you go, and it helps you understand things better if you can do them 2-dimensionally, you know, if you can draw. But at the end of the day, you know, I've met quite a few 3D animators and 3D illustrators that really can't draw themselves out of a hat, and that's completely fine because they're living in that 3D world all the time. They're thinking three-dimensionally, and you know, that's completely fine. And I respect 3D animators that can do that, and illustrators and sculptors. But if you can get this 2-dimensional to be able to, you know, work with your hands and stuff, I think that could lend itself definitely to the 3D world. So that's kind of where I'm headed, I think, is into some type of a 3D situation, I hope, you know. Anyway, so what I'm going to do here in the next probably hour or so, and I'm not going to bore you guys with the drawing and the continual talking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this bad boy on time-lapse for you guys, and you can kind of watch the progression and see exactly where I'm going to put Rocket. I want Rocket here. I want him looking up this direction, because I mean, here's Groot looking this direction, and I want, you know, Rocket looking this direction, or even looking forward, you know, in that in that different perspective here. And I want him holding his gun, and I like the fact, you know, maybe I could have his gun come up this way, and I've already done my concept sketch for it, so it kind of works. And then his tail. And you have to understand, whenever you do stuff like this, you know, you have all these pointy lines right here, into this direction here. He is looking this direction, okay, and then I have Groot looking this direction, or even at the viewer. and then this tail acts, and this kind of acts as a border right here, and you have this traditional composition, triangular composition that really works pretty much in it's been working for, you know, centuries, or not centuries, but yeah, centuries, decades, centuries. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on time lapse for you guys, and you guys can really enjoy and watch the process. Something just fell in my house and I have no idea what it is, and I am alone. I think I'm fine. If you don't see another video, then you know what happened. Anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and hopefully you guys, whenever I come out on the other side, I'm going to try to do color on this one as well today, so I might spend maybe an hour and a half on it. That's a long time for doing a sketch. So anyway, thank you guys so much for visiting my page, liking, subscribing, sharing, get this information out, get this, you know, to the people that you think could really benefit from it. Again, I do have monetization on my site, because eventually I would like to get to the point where, you know, at least the time spent on the video pays for, you know, the page, and the time spent, you know, hour and a half or whatever. I'm not looking to be a $1 million YouTuber, which I know some people are, which blows my mind. But in the same chord, my interest is purely in the art and getting this information to you guys. So I really appreciate everybody that visits. And if you're new here, thank you. If you want to stick around, killer, awesome. I am going to do a little wrap up at the end of the video, so hopefully it'll be something that I'll be proud of at the end. So enjoy the time lapse, and we'll see you next time. Woo. So I think that's it for the initial concept sketch. I think what I'm going to do with this one, which I usually don't do, usually I just ink them up really quick and you know, proceed to just put them on the shelf and move on to the next one. I think what I'm going to do with this one for you guys is something a little bit different, and I'm going to actually take a few more sessions. Hopefully you'll get something out of this. Instead of just doing it on paper, I'm going to go ahead and scan it in and do a digital image of it. There's multiple ways of doing the digital image. You know, digital illustration, you can drag it into your Photoshop and digitally paint it. There's other programs like Manga Studio and some of the other paint programs. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to take it into a program called Sketchbook Pro. I've been recently, you know, kind of going through and looking at tutorials, and you know, I've had Sketchbook Pro for years, and I've used it for years as well. But in terms of a quick sketching program, I think that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to drag it into Sketchbook Pro, and I'm just going to ink it, and you know, maybe I'll drag it into Photoshop as well to kind of do some final things on it. But this is the initial sketch with a little bit of a tonal study in there as well. I didn't get really too detailed on it as I could have, obviously, because I kind of filled the paper up a little bit too early. But I had a lot of fun on it, and that's what counts. Again, thank you guys for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. You know, I've gotten quite a few requests for different characters. Keep those requests coming so I can write them on my sheet to go ahead and continue doing them. And hopefully, whenever I get done with some of those images that you request, you know, they'll be for sale. Again, I'm not here to make a ton of money. I'm just here to, you know, meet the needs of my viewers and also learn something as well. So hopefully you guys learned something today. Draw every day, guys. It's very important that you draw every day, even if it's something very simple. Something simple, observation, you're training your eye. You know, I'm not saying read a book every day, but read something. Don't look at your phone all day. I find myself sometimes I sit down and I start to, I start to relax, and what's the first thing that typically comes out? It's my phone. So I've really tried to not do that anymore, and hopefully I encourage you to do the same. Your phone is a great resource. It's a great resource for a myriad of things, but it's also a horrible distraction and can be a time waster. And I encourage you to kind of recognize those things as you progress through your week. So thank you again for coming, and again, share and subscribe as much as you can. That way we can get this channel growing and hopefully get a little bit more content, and hopefully move on to the next stage, which I really want to get into, which is the tutorial stage of digital illustration. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next time.